Susan K. Morrow here, your friendly neighborhood psychic medium. And I wanted to give you a couple of tips about what I've learned from working with those on the other side, people in heaven, your late loved ones who have passed away. I've put together a couple of tips about that you might find helpful. Number one, when a person passes away, that person always goes to heaven. Our soul winds up in what I call heaven, what you might call heaven. It's not the heaven that we talk about in church, but it is a beautiful kind of existence where people get to do what they want to do, they get to enjoy themselves, and there's really only love there. And so your late loved ones are okay, yes, even those who have passed from suicide. In fact, I have read for people whose late loved ones have passed from suicide, and very often the suicide victim doesn't even know how they passed away. It's some sort of protective barrier. But those people on the other side are okay. They are safe, and there is no such thing as hell. All right? That's number one. Number two, if you should receive sort of instructions or directive from your late loved one, whether it comes to you in some way or through me or someone like me, there are two things to remember about those instructions. Number one, the instructions are up to you. It's your choice whether you want to follow that advice or not. So if your grandfather tells you to go back to school, or your late mother tells you to call your sister, or I had a client whose late mother-in-law, who didn't even like her, wanted her to tell her husband to go visit his mother's grave. And so whether you choose to follow those instructions or the advice or not is completely up to you. That person is not going to be mad at you or disappointed in you. They're not going to come and haunt you just because you didn't follow the advice that they gave you. The other thing to remember, number two, is that those instructions are always going to be to your benefit, not anybody else's. The lady whose husband was supposed to go visit his mother's grave, that was for the husband's benefit. It's going to be to your benefit to follow the instructions if you choose to. It's not going to do anything for them on the other side. They're just trying to help you. It doesn't mean that it's going to, if you follow the instructions, they'll be happy. No, it's going to be for your benefit. And the third thing that I've learned is that if you had some sort of issue with your loved one before he or she passed away, all is forgiven. There's no sense of anger or guilt or sorrow. When we die and we are free from the physical body, we're also free of the negative aspects of being a human. We don't have the anger, the sorrow, the guilt. We have love, understanding, peace, and joy and happiness. So let's say that you didn't get a chance to say I'm sorry before he or she died. That's okay. You are forgiven. There's nothing coming at you from the other side that is anger or sorrow or disappointment or shame or vengefulness. None of that is coming from anyone on the other side. And that's what I've learned. Thanks so much. Until next time, I'm Susan K. Morrow, and you be good.